Caesar had defeated every enemy on the battlefield, but the men who would kill him were waiting inside the Senate. On the Ides of March, Rome's greatest conqueror walked toward the one battle he could not win. For 10 years, Julius Caesar conquered kingdoms, defeated the greatest armies on earth, and became the most powerful man Rome had ever seen. No enemy could stop him. No battlefield could defeat him. But on one spring morning, he walked into the Roman Senate, surrounded not by soldiers, but by friends. Within minutes, the greatest conqueror of the ancient world would lie dead, not because of a foreign invasion, not because of war, but because Rome feared the man who had saved it. This is the story of the assassination of Julius Caesar, a man too powerful. After defeating Pompey, Caesar returned to Rome as its undisputed ruler. Crowds filled the streets wherever he walked. Victorious soldiers praised his name. The people celebrated him as the man who had ended years of civil war. For many Romans, he was no longer just a general. He had become a living legend. The Senate rewarded him with honors never before granted to any Roman. His statues stood beside those of ancient kings. His face appeared on coins while he was still alive. He received the title, Dictator for Life, a title that shocked many senators. For centuries, Rome had hated kings. The Republic had been built on the promise that no single man would ever rule alone. Yet every month, Caesar seemed to gain even more power. He appointed magistrates, controlled the treasury, expanded the Senate, forgave former enemies, and introduced reforms that changed Rome forever. He reorganized the calendar, reduced corruption, settled thousands of veterans, and planned enormous projects that would transform the empire. Ordinary citizens admired him, but inside the Senate, fear was growing. Some believed Caesar truly wanted to help Rome. Others believed something very different. They believed he wanted a crown. Rumors spread through the city. People whispered that Caesar wished to become king, the one title every Roman was taught to reject. During a public festival, Mark Antony approached Caesar before the cheering crowd, holding a royal crown. Once, Caesar refused it. The people applauded. A second time, he refused again. The crowd shouted even louder. Then Antony offered it a third time. For just a brief moment, Caesar hesitated. That single hesitation changed everything. Many senators believed they had finally seen the truth. Perhaps Caesar really did dream of becoming king. From that day forward, suspicion became fear, and fear slowly became conspiracy. Among those watching was a respected senator named Marcus Junius Brutus, a man Caesar trusted, a man many believed was like a son to him. No one could imagine that Brutus would soon stand at the center of one of history's greatest betrayals, far from the cheering crowds, behind closed doors. A small group of senators had already begun meeting in secret, not to debate laws, not to discuss the future of Rome, but to decide one terrible question. If Caesar could not be stopped by politics, could he be stopped by a blade? The conspiracy had begun. More names would soon join the plot. More daggers would be hidden beneath white togas. And with every passing day, the Ides of March drew closer. The greatest conqueror in Roman history had no idea that his final battle would not be fought on a battlefield, but inside the Senate itself. The conspiracy. As Caesar's power continued to grow, so did the number of men who feared him. The conspiracy no longer belonged to just a few senators. Every week, more influential Romans secretly joined their meetings. Some had once fought against Caesar. Others had accepted his forgiveness after the Civil War. Yet many believed they owed their loyalty not to the man, but to the Republic. Leading the conspiracy was Gaius Cassius Longinus, a brilliant soldier, a skilled politician, and one of Caesar's oldest rivals. Cassius understood something important. No one would support the assassination unless one man agreed to take part. Marcus Junius Brutus. Brutus was admired across Rome. His family name carried enormous respect. His ancestor had helped overthrow Rome's last king centuries earlier. If Brutus joined the conspiracy, the assassination would appear not as murder, but as an act of patriotism. At first, Brutus refused. He admired Caesar. He respected everything Caesar had accomplished. But every day, letters began appearing outside his home. Some were anonymous. Others simply read, "Brutus, wake up, Rome needs you." The messages were written by members of the conspiracy, designed to convince him that the people expected him to save the Republic. Slowly, doubt entered his mind. Was Caesar truly becoming a tyrant? Or were jealous politicians manipulating him? The answer became harder to see. Cassius met Brutus again. This time, he spoke not about revenge, but about freedom. If Caesar becomes king, the Republic dies forever. Those words haunted Brutus night after night. He struggled with the impossible choice: protect the man he loved, or protect the Republic he had sworn to defend. Finally, Brutus made his decision. He would join the conspiracy. When Cassius heard the news, he smiled. Now, the assassination had a leader everyone would follow. More than 60 senators secretly pledged themselves to the plot. Each man carried the same responsibility. No one could hesitate. No one could fail, because if Caesar survived, every conspirator would be executed. As the days passed, strange signs appeared across Rome. A violent storm shook the city. Lightning struck ancient temples. Birds circled above the forum. Even experienced priests admitted the omens were disturbing. Then came the warning that history would never forget. While walking through the streets, a mysterious soothsayer stepped forward. He looked directly into Caesar's eyes. "Beware the Ides of March," Caesar laughed, ignored the warning, and continued walking. To him, there was nothing left to fear. He had defeated every enemy Rome had ever sent against him. What could possibly threaten him now? What hidden beneath elegant white togas? Roman senators were already preparing their daggers, waiting for the perfect moment. On the evening before the Ides of March, the conspirators gathered one final time. Every detail had been planned, every escape route prepared. Tomorrow, the fate of Rome would change forever, and Julius Caesar would walk willingly into history's most famous assassination, the Ides of March. The morning of March 15th, 44 BC, Rome awoke like any other day. Merchants opened their shops. Citizens filled the streets. Children played in the marketplaces. No one knew. History was only hours away from changing forever. Inside his home, Caesar prepared for the Senate meeting. His wife Calpurnia had barely slept the night before. She dreamed that Caesar lay dead in her arms. His statue flowed with blood, and all of Rome was mourning. She begged him not to leave. Please do not go today. Something terrible will happen. For the first time in years, Caesar hesitated. He agreed to remain at home. When the conspirators learned this, panic spread among them. If Caesar canceled the meeting, their plan might never succeed. Decimus Brutus, one of Caesar's most trusted friends, immediately rode to his house. He smiled, as if nothing were wrong. The Senate is waiting. If you fail to appear, they will believe you are afraid, or worse, that you no longer respect them. Caesar looked toward the door. Perhaps Calpurnia's dream meant nothing. Perhaps fear had finally reached even his own home. He took his cloak and left. As Caesar walked through Rome, the same soothsayer appeared once again. The Ides of March have come. Caesar smiled. Yes, they have come. The old man answered quietly. But they have not yet passed. Caesar continued toward the theater of Pompey, where the Senate was meeting. Ironically, the building belonged to the very man Caesar had defeated. Inside, more than 60 senators waited, each hiding a dagger beneath his white toga, each pretending nothing was unusual. Caesar entered. The senators rose to greet him. He took his seat. One conspirator approached, asking Caesar to restore the rights of an exiled man. Caesar politely refused. Another senator stepped forward, then another. Within seconds, they surrounded him. Caesar realized something was wrong before he could stand. The first dagger struck. It hit his shoulder. Caesar fought back, grabbing one attacker with surprising strength. For a brief moment, chaos filled the chamber. Then another blade struck. Then another. Steel flashed from every direction. The senators attacked together, one after another, until there was no escape. Caesar turned, searching desperately for familiar faces. Then he saw Brutus, standing among the attackers for a single moment. Everything stopped. The betrayal hurt far more than any blade. Caesar no longer resisted. He pulled part of his toga across his face and collapsed at the foot of Pompey's statue. 23 wounds covered his body. Only a few had been fatal. But together, they ended the life of Rome's greatest conqueror. Silence filled the Senate. Blood spread across the marble floor. The conspirators stood frozen. They believed they had saved the Republic. Instead, they had opened the door to another civil war. Outside, news spread through Rome within minutes. Citizens ran through the streets. Some refused to believe it. Others wept openly. Many fled their homes, fearing the city would descend into violence. Mark Antony escaped before the conspirators could reach him. Within days, history remembers Julius Caesar as one of the greatest military commanders who ever lived. He conquered nations, defeated impossible odds, and transformed the Roman world forever. Yet in the end, the only enemies he could never defeat Were the men who smiled beside him, the Republic died with Caesar, and from its ashes an empire was born. But that is another story.